I'm about to do a couple hypothetical matchups that really can happen in the near future. We back. It's the Box Clinic and more. It's your boy CJ Goodfellow. We're talking about first. We'll talk about Danny Garcia versus Shawn Porter. I definitely think this is a fight that needs to happen like now, like after Garcia gets done with Brandon Rios. Just saying if he beats Rios, which he should. And I don't think that people are in a rush to see Keith Thurman versus Shawn Porter, or Danny Garcia rematch. I mean, we've seen it. We want him to move on and progress in his career. And I would like to see Keith Thurman at least take on Jesse Vargas and then, take on Earl Spence after that. Or, then the winner of Danny and Shawn and then Earl Spence later in 2019 if he wants to do it that way. But I think this is a fight that needs to happen. Actually, Danny Garcia, issued the challenge out to Shawn Porter. I think right before he came to 147 pounds for real and said that Shawn Porter was tailor-made for him. And I don't think he was lying about that. I'm not saying that he's perfectly tailor-made for Danny Garcia, but Garcia is a guy that struggles with movement, and Shawn doesn't really have that movement, that kind of defensive movement and in and out movement. Shawn is kind of sidestepping and coming right for you. He might take a little step to the right or left, but he's very aggressive, and he has a subpar jab. And I think you got to have a better jab to beat Danny Garcia. And Garcia will welcome Shawn Porter coming straight down the pipe and love countering Shawn Porter, but Porter ain't no hoe. Porter would definitely make Danny dig deep, and Danny has one of the better chins in the boxing. And so does Shawn, but the thing about it is Shawn Porter's style is mauling, is grappling, it takes a toll on you. And I believe that Matisse fight took something out of Danny Garcia and Matisse, and both haven't looked the same since returning to the ring several times. And I wouldn't count Shawn Porter out with his brawling style, but Danny speaks that language very, very fluently, and it will be a great fight style-wise. I think it'll be one of the better fights when you talk about action-packed in the welterweight division. When you're talking about numbers and popularity, I think this fight will blow up for the simple fact, even without a title, for the simple fact that both dads are very vocal in their sons' lives. Both are respected around the boxing world, and both have been going back and forth for some time. This is a fight that boxing needs. I mean, in my opinion, this is a fight that should fall on a potential Keith Thurman Earl Spence undercard. And I know both guys, feel like they're entitled to a rematch with Keith Thurman, and Danny feels like he's entitled because they broke an attendance record and did big numbers. Shawn feels he's entitled because he felt like he was a hair trigger away from beating Keith Thurman. And I feel him, and you want to go for that number one spot. You don't want to have to go for the number two guy. Nobody ever wants to go, for the help. They want to go for the boss man. They want to go for the guy that they got the bag. And I can't fault both of these warriors for wanting to go right back for Keith Thurman. At the end of the day, boxing fans have an agenda for Keith Thurman. They want to see him up against Crawford and Earl Spence. And while that happens, I mean, either you can go for Spence or Crawford while this dude rehabs and get back right and Keith Thurman, or you can fight each other, which I think is a better option right now. I think once these guys fight each other, I think then the fans are like, you know what, we want to see him in the ring versus that Crawford or that Thurman and Spence winner. And I think it would be an excellent fight. I think potentially it probably could be the best fight in the welterweight division when you're talking about style-wise and action-pack-wise, and it'll be a thriller. I think both of these guys are very evenly matched at welterweight, and it has the backstory to be the best fight in welterweight as far as the trash talk, the build-up. I mean, both dads have personalities. Both sons are soft-spoken, but as far as the build-up, I think people will get behind this fight, especially boxing fans and casual fans, once they see the heat being thrown between Kenny and Angel, and the bad blood being thrown between, Shawn calling them out with the Macho Man impersonation, and Danny saying send the contract and all the other stuff, and people knowing who Danny Garcia is and knowing who Shawn Porter is. I think it's a step in the right direction for both of these guys' career, especially the guy that wins it. And I think it's a fight that needs to happen now. I think it needs to happen after Brandon Rios and Danny Garcia. Let Keith Thurman do what he do. Let him fight a tune-up fight and come back and fight a guy like Jesse Vargas, and then see y'all guys in the beginning of 2019 and then see Earl Spence later. Because I don't see Keith Thurman attacking, Earl Spence in the beginning of 2019. I don't see that being the first half fight. I see that being more of a fall fight, And we know the best fights happen in the last quarter of the year in the fall. And I think Earl Spence and Keith Thurman ain't going to happen until later 2019. So there's definitely room for them to get in where they fit in at. And I think they should fight. And perhaps, you never know, this can be spawn a trilogy. Or at least a rematch, because I think it's that type of fight. I think it got, both guys bring a nice little fan base. And it's a nice fight on the East Coast, West Coast, South, wherever they want to have it. But let me know what y'all think. We gone.